government publicly. Many of them don't know that before I go with a public criticism, I would have spent months, maybe years, speaking in private. So when people talk about me and the whole missing money thing in the central bank, I tell them I never made public the question of my suspicions of missing money. I wrote a confidential letter to the president as governor of central bank in August. I expressed my concerns. Nothing happened. The letter leaked after 5 months. It was not me who announced it. But once it was out, I had to stand by my letter and own my position. With the current administration, I spent literally the whole of 2015 and 2016 speaking to everybody who should be spoken to and telling them that the economic policies they were pursuing were going to destroy the Nigerian economy. It was only when that failed that I spoke publicly. And we had to speak. Now the question which everybody is asking is, should Emir speak? And the answer is yes. And it depends on what Emir you are and what you're speaking on. I mean, Socrates said, wise people speak because they have something to say. Stupid people speak because they have to say something. But if you have something to say, you have to say it. And I never agreed that anyone could tell me, given my background, that I was not qualified to speak on the economy. I was a chief risk officer of a bank. I was MD of a bank. I was governor of the central bank. In 4 of the 5 years that I was governor, I was best central bank governor in Africa. In 1 of the years, I was best central bank governor in the world. And I say, if we all go into public service and we have a record, we should be proud to point to that record. And I'm ready. Anybody can look at what was the rate of inflation under me, what was the exchange rate, what did I do with the payment systems, what did I do with the banks. And if we spent all those years putting in our best to build this country, we have a right to speak when we see other people not doing the same thing. If every president, every governor, every minister, every commissioner took his job seriously, this country would not be where it was. But if people are willing to be ministers and commissioners and governors and presidents for 8 years and not tell us how they have improved our lives, we have a problem.
Staying with the political class, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says his government has received intelligence report that politicians in the state have started recruiting cultists and ex-convicts to be used as political thugs before and during next year's general elections. The governor in a state broadcast said the reports also indicate that the meetings for such recruitment are being held in hotels and other entertainment centers around the state. He's warned that his administration will not allow any politician, despite his past or present status or political leanings, to upset the relative peace which the security agencies have struggled to maintain in Rivers State.
We're not unaware of the intelligence reports on some misguided politicians who have started the process of recruiting cultists, supporters and ex-convicts as thugs in furtherance of their political aspirations for 2023. We have also been informed that owners of hotels and entertainment centers are giving out their premises to politicians and political parties as a convenient base for the gathering of these political talks across the state. I wish to emphasize that we are not taking these reports lightly and would therefore not allow any politician, no matter his previous or present position, the chance or opportunity to upset the prevailing peace and security in Rivers State. Similarly, we would not allow a political party, be it the All Progressive Congress, the People's Democratic Party, or the Social Democratic Party, or any other party, to threaten the safety and security of lives and property during the campaigns with mayhem, thuggery, or violence. Accordingly, we have already alerted and set the security agencies on the trail of those misguided politicians and leaders of political parties and stop them in their tracks with the full weight of the law.
More on security. One person who has been killed and 2 others injured after bandits again attacked Shola headquarters community in Katsina local government area in the early hours of today. A couple was also abducted during the attack that lasted over 30 minutes. Although the police is yet to comment on the development, a resident of the area who confirmed the incident to Channels Television said the bandits stormed the community at about 1:30 a.m. today. The latest attack comes less than 2 months after terrorists invaded the same community and kidnapped 6 people who were later released after paying a ransom. Meanwhile, at least 6 kidnapped victims have been rescued by police after raiding terrorist hideouts at Tandama village in Danja local government area of Katsina State. The officers, according to the police spokesman Issa Gambo, raided the terrorist hideout in the community based on credible intelligence to carry out the operation. Now, the mastermind of the July attack on the presidential convoy in Katsina State, Abdul Karim Faka, has been killed in Tandana village, Danja local government area of Katsina State. Faka and 7 other suspected terrorists were neutralized in the early hours of today during an Air Force raid in the same area in a mop-up operation. A reliable military source told Channels Television that intelligence gathered by the military led to the identification of his location before the strike. A source asked that many of the terrorists also fled the scene with bullet wounds, while all their rustled cows perished. The military is yet to react to the aerial bombardment. But it's some cheery news from Ondo State. A traditional head from Ikare Akoko, Chief Mukaila Bello and 3 others abducted along Owo Ikare Akoko Road on Thursday evening have regained their freedom. A police spokesperson in Ondo State, Fumilayo Odulami, who confirmed the incident to Channels Television, says they're receiving medical attention in hospital. Victims were said to be returning from Akure to Ikare when they were attacked by gunmen along the Agoyaye axis of the road. Meanwhile, it is unclear whether any ransom was paid for their release. However, the proposal by some state governments who want to buy sophisticated weapons like AK-47 rifles for their own security outfits is outside the current legal framework of the country. It's the view of retired Director of Department of State Services, Mr. Mike Ejiofor. He also told Channels Television's Ladi Akedulana Current Affairs program Newsnight that the proposal for a ban on the use of motorcycles needs to be looked at very closely with a view to examining all sides to the issue.
If you look at the establishment of various security outfits locally, yeah, that's commendable. But Governor of Benue threatened to buy AK-47, AK-49 to arm his, I don't think that's within the law. But any means anybody can use to protect himself, like government has been calling on people to protect themselves. I'll give you an example of the Amoteku. You know, since the establishment, I think it's the most organized in all parts of the country, the Amoteku, because they have achieved a lot of success, especially in Ondo State. You know, until recently when we had this attack on the Catholic Church, Ondo State remained relatively peaceful. And I think that's the way to go. that we should involve not only the security outfits, but the community. The people should be involved, giving information to the security agencies. When you say something, say something. But on the issue of ban on motorbike, I don't agree with that. I'm also happy that it's a proposal on the side of government to see how it will work. If you ban motorcycle as a means of transport, don't also forget that within some communities, motorbikes are only means of transportation. But in areas where they are very well known, like Zamfara and Katsina, all these areas, yes, we can give it a trial of maybe 1 month ban to see whether there's going to be a difference. Because if you make a general ban all over the country, you have thrown a lot of people out of job.
Well, you can watch the full interview tomorrow on Newsnight. It airs at 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. And in part two, after the break, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu inspects ongoing 37-kilometre intrastate red line rail project, promises completion at the set time. That's in a moment. Do join us again.
Searching for originals. Originals found. Made Kuti. No DNA needed.
Open to the future of black. No DNA needed. Originally black.
Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Channels Television, ubiquitous.
Welcome back. If it has joined us to watch the news at 10 live on Channels Television, Lagos. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Former Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, says he will continue to speak truth to power in spite of his dethronement, and says most of his predictions about the country have come to pass. Bandits kill one abducted couple during attack on Katsina State community. Second attack on same community in less than 2 months. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu inspects ongoing 37-kilometre intrastate red rail line project. Promises completion at set time. Toby Amushan and S.A. Brume set new Commonwealth Games records to win gold in the women's 100-metre hurdles and long jump events in Birmingham as Team Nigeria increases its medals haul. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is reassuring residents of Lagos that the ongoing 37-kilometre intrastate red line project will be delivered at the set date. The governor, his deputy Obafemi Hamzat, and other state officials inspected the project starting from Agege to Oyingbo. Our correspondent Daridu reports.
The inspection tour of the Red Line Rail project kicks off at the Agege station, where there's a link between the Nigeria Railway Corporation line and the interstate rail service. The governor gets the update on the level of work done so far, he moves to Ikeja Station, and the focus this time is on the physical infrastructure. From Ikeja to Mushin, Yaba, and the final stop at the Oyingbo Station, where the governor promised the residents that the work on that axis will be delivered soon.
2 months, 3 months, we'll finish it, okay? Small, patient, small. We'll rush it very fast, okay?
Governor Sanwo-Olu says the Red Line project is on track.
The operation should start first quarter 2023. Right. So what we're doing is to ensure that the physical infrastructure, right, are completed by December latest. All stations, all bridges, all walkways, all pedestrian bridges by December, so that they can start testing. You know, operationally, it will take 2-3 months. You need to check your signaling. So we're hoping that the operations will start within the first quarter of 2023. It could be January. We'll start carrying passengers from January, test passengers. You know, operationally, we should start doing that first quarter next year. And those were the promises that we gave to Lagosians before the end of our administration. We will have passenger movement on the Red Line.
The mass transit project, including overpasses, stations, and other assets, is part of the state's intermodal transportation arrangement, expected to move more than 700,000 passengers daily. Dari Idu, Channels Television News.
And in neighboring Oyo State, the first cassava-based sorbitol factory in Africa has been inaugurated. The project, which has the support of the Central Bank of Nigeria, is located at Alaide Village, Adoayi, Oyo State. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, while commissioning the historic project, describes it as a testament to the commitment of his administration to making agribusiness a life-changer.
The Oyo State government and management of the Central Bank of Nigeria and key players in agribusiness converge on the agrarian community of Alaide Village in Adoayi, Oyo State, to witness history.
Today, 4th day of August.
For the first time in Africa, a cassava-based sorbitol factory becomes operational. Sorbitol is a low-calorie sweetener which is synthetically extracted from glucose. It has several uses, which include use in sugar-free foods, pharmaceutical, and dental care products, among others. The central bank is confident that the importation of sorbitol would reduce as more jobs are being created.
In the cassava value chain development, the bank has so far supported the cultivation of 102,567 hectares of land and output of over 3 million metric tons.
Governor Makinde discloses that the state government would also embark on the rehabilitation of feeder roads across the state to complement projects like the sorbitol factory, among others.
The role of government so far has been to build the infrastructure needed for these businesses to locate their factories and farms here in Oyo State.
This sorbitol factory is largely reliant on cassava as the main raw material.
Cassava can be used to produce monosodium glutamate, vitamin C, vitamin E, ethanol, sorbitol, name it. It can produce more than 300 different types of products that we currently import into Africa.
To some of the stakeholders, the project is a nexus between agriculture and industrialization.
This is a fundamental way to raise living standard in our rural areas, to lift rural economies and make sure that all those bountiful things that people look for in the cities, they can also have in the rural areas.
Farmers in Okigwe and environs are happy about this project, as it will be an off-taker of large-scale cassava production to their delight along that corridor. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
We're in Kogi State, which has declared its readiness to collaborate with China in establishing a nuclear energy plant in the state. Governor Yahaya Bello stated this at the Government House in Lokoja during a visit of a delegation from China National Nuclear Corporation, led by the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Qi Jianchun. The governor, who is delighted over the choice of Kogi State for the project, says the visit and discussion is between two sincere governments, both interested in the development and advancement of the people.
A high-powered delegation from China, led by the 14th ambassador of China to Nigeria, Mr. Qi Jianchun, are in this hall at the Government House Lokoja to meet with Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State and members of his cabinet to discuss areas of partnership in nuclear energy investment with the state government.
Chinese visit here really made a good contribution to Nigeria. The deep water harbor, the highway, the railway, airport, hydropower plant, and also we are discussing later nuclear power plant. So infrastructure, really China can do more because we have achieved a lot in China. So just now the head of delegation, Mr. Wang, would like to invite you, Governor, go to China to see really China is leading the international community to build our advanced and very modern infrastructure.
A pictorial lecture of what the nuclear energy investment entails and its advantage to the country and Kogi State is then presented to the council. An ecstatic Governor Bello assures his visitors that his administration is willing to foster the relationship with the Chinese government by engaging in fruitful discussions in the interest of Kogi State. He urges China to continue sharing their wealth of experience with Nigeria in areas where the country requires assistance.
We will partner with you to ensure that you deploy the latest technology, just like we are deploying the latest technology in terms of healthcare service delivery. We want to equally partner with you, not only to generate energy or power, but also to deploy the latest technology to secure our people. In that process, your economic and other interests here in Kogi State and Nigeria at large will be guaranteed.
With the visit by the Chinese delegation, the state government is optimistic that when the project is approved, it will create more employment opportunities in addition to generating more revenue for the state.
Inconsistent policies and inadequate funding have been identified as major setbacks of the development of science and technology in Nigeria. The National Board for Technology Incubation is saddled with the responsibility of nurturing early-stage technology startups. However, some experts argue they aren't living up to expectations. In this report, we take a look at how the challenges and prospects of this sector as it affects Nigeria's development.
The federal government has put together several initiatives to support entrepreneurship through the promotion of small and medium enterprises. One of such endeavors is the establishment of the National Board for Technology Incubation in 1992 to implement technology incubation programs in all the states across the country. Technology incubation is designed to grow new and small businesses, products and innovations, as well as supporting entrepreneurs through the early stages of development.
The National Board for Incubation Center, which is supposed to have the mandate to galvanize all young innovators together and see how they can structure them, put them into a center, and give them the necessary or the requisite funding that they need to be able to bring these ideas to limelight.
However, experts believe the intention for creating these initiatives have not been realized. They say some of the reasons for this setback include inconsistent policies and lack of proper funding.
For you to actually carry out innovation, it requires a lot of money, and that talks about research and development. It's just like you talking about the Silicon Valley. You talk about the Zuckerbergs, you talk about the Bill Gates, and all those people who have innovative mindsets in Silicon Valley in the US. They are largely funded by government. So there must be a very huge budget for innovation and for research and development. But in this side of the world, it's unfortunate we've not been able to have that.
This expert also wants government to take a cue from Asian countries who are known for innovation.
Any such a development or discovery, the government steps in immediately and encourage the young ones and produce it to a massive distance. That's why you see people developing faster, especially in China. Every family is an innovator. They innovate, they create wristwatches, all kind of equipments. That's why sometimes they call it fake or Taiwan. They call it, used to be Taiwan, but then they have developed into a very qualitative, standardized way of doing things, globalized way of doing things, and they're no longer calling them Taiwan, which means fake one.
However, the executive vice chairman of the federal government's science and technology-focused agency has a different perspective.
Our contribution to both technology and economy is we have successfully researched and developed products in the area of solar energy. And today, our success has led to the establishment of solar manufacturing plant, 100% owned by government, and producing solar modules, that is solar panel of international standards.
The National Board for Technology Incubation, which is responsible for nurturing these innovators and entrepreneurs, was not available to speak on its mandate. Restructure the concept of Technology Incubation Center Initiative and focus on technology-enabled products and services if it intends to put Nigerian products on the world map.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and Center for Journalism Innovation and Development have sued the federal government and asked the court to declare as illegal the 5 billion naira imposed on Trust TV, MultiChoice Nigeria Limited and others over their documentaries on terrorism in the country. Joining the suit as defendants are Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, and the National Broadcasting Commission, the NBC. The NBC had last week imposed fines on the media houses, claiming that their documentaries glorify the activities of bandits and undermines national security in Nigeria. It also contravenes the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. Well, the rights group says it is seeking an order to set aside the fines of 5 billion naira and any other penal sanction unilaterally imposed by the NBC on these media houses for carrying out their constitutional duties. SERAP argues that the NBC has not shown that the documentaries by the media organizations would impose a specific risk of harm to a legitimate state interest that outweighs the public interest in the information provided by the documentaries. As part of efforts to ensure the speedy dispensation of justice, the president of the Center for Socio-Legal Studies, Professor Yemi Akinseye George, is advocating the need for the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act at the federal level and the Administration of Criminal Justice laws in various states of the Federation. Speaking in Abuja at a workshop for ACJA Rangers on their role in effective implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and Administration of Criminal Justice laws across the country, Professor Akinseye George, who was represented by the Executive Director of the Center, Mrs. Olaide Akinseye George, says passing a law is one thing, but applying it is effectively another.
You will agree with me that passing a law is one thing, but applying it efficiently is another. And that is our problem in this country, because it's not that we don't have good laws, but it is lack of effective implementation or enforcement of this law. Indeed, I make bold to say that a weak law that is properly implemented is better than a good one that is left on the shelf to gather dust. Effective administration of criminal justice requires active participation of all the members of the public. And when the members of the public play their roles effectively and provide support for law enforcement personnel, administration of criminal justice becomes more effective. Now, how can they do that? Some of the ways in which citizens can engage in promoting effective criminal justice administration includes the following. 1, being informant or whistleblower. That is, when you see something, you say something. This above is a common saying often used by law enforcement agencies to solicit information from the general public.
Health matters now. As the World Breastfeeding Week is commemorated, the Yobe State government says it will soon complete and commission one of the largest maternal, neonatal and child health complex with over 250-bed capacity in northern Nigeria. The Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Lawan Gana, revealed this while inspecting the multi-billion naira project in Damaturu, the state capital.
According to the World Health Organization 2020 report, Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest neonatal mortality rate in the world, with 27 deaths per 1,000 live births. To mitigate the neonatal indices in the Northeast region, the Yobe State government has embarked on construction of a maternal, neonatal and child health complex with over 250-bed capacity in Damaturu, the state capital. The project, which would also serve as a clinical center for medical students of Yobe State University, has now reached 95% completion and is expected to be commissioned in December 2022.
This structure is about the largest in the northern part of the country, and it was actually conceived based on the need to address the maternal, neonatal and child health negative indices. It is supposed to, it's designed to meet the needs of tertiary care, research, as well as training of health workers that are related to this area. Presently, as you can see, the infrastructure is already about 95% completed. Soon, by end of this month, we're optimistic that it will be 100%.
On manpower, the Commissioner for Health in the state reveals that 400 healthcare personnel ranging from doctors, laboratory scientists, pharmacists, nurses and midwives are currently undergoing training at health institutions both within and outside the country.
The state government has continuously employed various cadre of manpower, from doctors to nurses, midwives, pharmacists and so on. And of recent, His Excellency approved for the, for the placement of pharmacists, lab technicians, and so on, indigenous ones on salary scales. So that is like an automatic employment for them while they are in school, and immediately they will be absorbed into the system.
The residents are hopeful that with the arrival of some equipment and the recent approval of an additional 4.5 billion naira for medical equipment and furniture, the challenge of maternal, neonatal and child mortality in the state will be reduced to the barest minimum.
Ahead on the news at 10, Toby Amusho and S.A. Brumes set new Commonwealth Games records to win gold in the women's 100-meter hurdles and long jump events in Birmingham as Team Nigeria increases its medals haul. That's all in a moment. Please join us again.
His Excellency Yesom Ezewan-Wike, CON, GSSRS, POS Africa, Governor of River State, cordially invites the general public to the official commissioning of the Orochiri Woruku Waterlines Junction flyover. This iconic 800 meters long flyover, started and completed by Governor Wike, will further ease commuting along Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway in the state. His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, will commission the flyover on 8th August 2022. Time 11 a.m. All invitees must adhere to COVID-19 protocol, including wearing of face mask. You're welcome, Your Excellency, and all invited guests. Announcer Kelvin Ebiri, Special Assistant on Media to River State Governor.
Welcome back. The Delta State government has flagged off the implementation of activities under Result Areas 1 and 2 of the Delta COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus DCARES program to support the poor and vulnerable who were affected by the pandemic. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who performed the official flag-off ceremony in Asaba, the Delta State capital, says he's confident the program will help mitigate the adverse economic impact of the pandemic on people and businesses.
In September 2021, the Delta State government gave operational support grants to 1,800 micro and small businesses under the Result Area 3 component of the COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program known as DCARES. This year, it is flagging off another phase of the program aimed at increasing cash transfers and livelihood support to the poor and vulnerable households, as well as increasing food security. On display are some of the agro-support items awaiting distribution to farmers.
In order to ensure...
The Commissioner for Economic Planning says beneficiaries drawn from poor and vulnerable households were selected based on merit.
The program is being domesticated at state levels using already existing social investment program platforms as stated in the program development objective of the World Bank. The World Bank applied a performance-based funding instrument for the program.
Some of the beneficiaries, including a physically challenged person, thanks the governor for the kind gesture.
I can pay my house rent. I can even buy food to eat. I can even give to somebody a little. Who is the doer of it is my governor.
I thank you for being able to teach us to fish. There are so many of us farmers that because of the movement to our various farms, we are not able to do that. We were all given a movement pass. And during that period, it made it a lot easy.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa assures the people have implemented all aspects of the DCARES program in the state for the benefit of all.
This administration is very committed to this program because it complements and supports our various social intervention efforts. Through this initiative, we directly support over 25,000 poor and vulnerable households with social transfers, basic services and livelihood grants, 13,976 farmers to increase food and food production and facilitate smooth functioning of the food supply chain, and over 2,500 micro small enterprises will be given grants to support post-COVID-19 loans, operational costs, and to enhance their IT capabilities.
He then flags off the program.
I'm happy to truly multiply whatever you do in Jesus' name.
The Delta State government believes with the successful implementation of the program, it will help address some of the negative economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the people and their businesses.
And in Bayelsa State, Governor Duyediri has described the National Water Resources Bill before the National Assembly as draconian, maintaining that it would have adverse effects on the affected states if passed into law. The governor condemned the bill when the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Water Resources, Dame Didi Wilson-Jack, and her team visited him at Government House.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, Dame Didi Wilson-Jack, is on an advocacy visit to the Bayelsa State Governor to brief him on the federal government's water and sanitation, hygiene, WASH program and discuss approaches to implementation in the state. She disclosed that an estimated 48 million persons practice open defecation in the country, which necessitated building a new culture of safe sanitation across Nigeria.
Other impacts include economic loss, estimated at 455 billion as at 2012, low productivity, poor educational outcomes, loss of lives, insecurity, and loss of dignity. As the lead agency reporting on Sustainable Development Goal 6 for Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources is striving towards improving the national statistics on WASH
through stakeholders' engagement and committing substantial resources to address gaps in the sector.
Responding, Governor Diri called on sponsors of the Water Resources Bill at the National Assembly to withdraw it, saying the country operates a federal rather than a unitary government.
Allow the states to approximate their resources. Allow the states to do what is in their own environment. If there is anything the federal government wants, tax them, and we pay taxes. Recently, I was in New Jersey and New York, and the whole port belongs to the states. The seaport belongs to the states. They only pay taxes. Here, you want to emasculate the state resources and then carry all of them away and then bring peanuts to the states. And then you say, oh, the state governments are not performing. How will they perform?
The governor assures the delegation that his administration would collaborate with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, on the water, sanitation and hygiene WASH project to stop the menace.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have arrested a trans-border drug dealer who claims to be a pastor. Mr. Aniete Okong Efyong was arrested with 3 drums of crystal methamphetamine, better known as Mpurumiri, believed to have been imported from India. The drugs weigh 90 kilograms, was intercepted during a stop-and-search operation along Mwahe-Ikotepene Highway while onward delivery to Cameroon. The cleric was arrested in a follow-up operation at Oron Beach in Akwa Ibom State. Meanwhile, in Sokoto State, a 90-year-old retired soldier, Usman Adamu, was caught with 5.1 kilograms of cannabis sativa in Sabon Birni local government area meant to be supplied to bandits. In another development, a 37-year-old Nigerian resident in Italy, Mr. Solo Osamede, was arrested for ingesting 41 wraps of heroin. He was caught and taken into custody for excretion. He had attempted to board a Turkish airline flight to Milan, Italy, via Istanbul, Turkey. To the foreign scene now, the Horniman Museum in London says it has agreed to return artifacts looted in the 19th century from the Benin Kingdom to Nigeria. The Horniman Museum says ownership of 72 objects will be transferred to the Nigerian government. Items include 12 brass plaques known as Benin bronze, a brass cockerel, and a key to the King's Palace. The planned return follows a request by the Nigerian Commission for Museums and Monuments in January. The museum says it had consulted with community members, visitors, school children, academics, heritage professionals and artists based in Nigeria and in the UK. Well, Taiwan will welcome officials from other countries despite the threats of attacks by China because the island nation is prepared for any eventuality with its Asian neighbor. Representative of the Taipei Trade Office in Nigeria, Andy Yiping Liu, says while it maintains calm composure, Taiwan is not a sitting duck for China and is prepared to respond if and when China attacks.
Our military buildup for the last 50 years has been continuously going on, and we've been buying more than 200 of the U.S. F-16 jet fighter. That's one of the largest F-16 jet fighter fleet in the world. And we are building our own submarine, our Navy submarine, and we build our own destroyer, our own kind of a missile attack boat, and we have one of the strongest missile defense systems in the world. So even if the Chinese are launching numerous kind of missile attack, our radar system has already locked them up. If they dare to fly into our territory, we'll shoot them down immediately, because that will be a violate of our own territorial sky and our water and everything. But for a moment, our president and our military leader has said that we have a self-constraint of not to help the Chinese to escalate the tension. We do not play around with the game. They play their own game. We just sit and stand still to watch them carefully. But if they dare to make any kind of move, we will fight them off.
You can watch more on the interview with Representative Andy Yi-Ping Liu on Diplomatic Channel. It airs at 8:30 p.m. on Sky 518 for our viewers in London, and 11:30 p.m. right here on Channels Television on DSTV 420 tomorrow evening. Discussions are underway to end the latest violence between Israeli and Palestinian militants, resulting in the deaths of at least 36 Palestinians over the weekend. Islamic Jihad militants and Israel have reportedly agreed a truce brokered by Egypt, but officially talks are still in progress. Earlier, rockets fired from Gaza reached Jerusalem for the first time since May last year. It's the third day of cross-border clashes in Gaza, and siren sounds and explosions were in the air above the Israeli city of Ashkelon. The explosions were heard minutes before a reported planned ceasefire was due to start. Israel and Palestinian militants had agreed to a truce in Gaza from Sunday evening, mediated by Egypt after a weekend-long pounding of Palestinian targets by Israel triggered longer-range rocket attacks against Israeli cities. An Egyptian security source said Israel agreed to the proposal, while a Palestinian official familiar with Egyptian efforts said the ceasefire would go into effect at 8 p.m. local time. In the southern Gaza city of Rafah, men were trying to salvage furniture and personal belongings from damaged houses after an Israeli strike hit a house on Saturday, killing Khalid Mansour, a senior commander of the militant Islamic Jihad group. 2 associates and 5 civilians were also killed in the strike, according to the Islamic Jihad group, which vowed not to let their blood dry before they bombard the settlements of the enemy. About 31 Palestinians, at least a third of them civilians, and 2 of them senior commanders of the Islamic Jihad militant group, have been killed since Friday in the latest surge in fighting, while Palestinian rocket salvos have sent tens of thousands of Israelis to shelters. World and Commonwealth Games 100-meter hurdles champion Toby Amushon is excited to set a new Games record in Birmingham despite a poor start. Amushon lined up in the final as a favorite for gold, and there was no stopping her as she blazed to a new Games record of 12.30 seconds to retain the title she won 4 years ago in the Gold Coast in Australia. Devin Charlton finished a distant second to win silver for the Bahamas, while Cindy Sember, whose father is Nigerian, won bronze for England.
The goal is to come out here, execute and, defend my title. And even though it was I wouldn't say poorly executed, but it wasn't the best of my best, but I'm thankful to have gotten the win. That really don't matter. The hurdle is a very humbling event, so you got to come in calm and be ready to execute. The world champions, it was more pressure on me, and coming in here I was more relaxed and I know what I needed to do. So getting the win here was just a relief. The support I get from Nigerians is just amazing, and I can't be more thankful for their consistent support so far.
Essay Brumer makes it gold number 12 for Team Nigeria when she reclaimed her Commonwealth Games crown in Birmingham this evening. After she was fouled in her opening attempt, Brumer leaped to her Commonwealth Games record of 6.99 meters to take the gold medal position. She improved on her jump in her 6th and final attempt to win gold with a record 7.00 millimeters. Australia's Brooke Bushkill and Ghana's Deborah Akua finished in 2nd and 3rd. And Nigeria's quartet of Tobi Amushon, Favour Fele, Rosemary Chukwuma and Grace Mokocha are excited, setting a new African record to win the women's 4x100 meters relay gold medal in Birmingham. Well, the girls rocked 42.10 seconds earlier today to pick Team Nigeria's 11th gold medal ahead of England and Jamaica.
Do something for us, do something for us.
Yeah, we did. I know you all watched the race and you saw the result. And when I came here yesterday saying we're going to win this, I wasn't playing because I know we all have what it takes to win. And I'm not sure we did it. And I know you guys saw it. Not just breaking the record, but also passing the message, like I said before. And yeah, we got it done. That's it. Breaking the African record again here is one of our mandates coming here, not just our individual races, but as a team, having an African record as a team is a fantastic stuff for us, and we broke it just how many weeks ago, and we did it again, so all thanks to God.
So special to me, because in the world, I was like, what? We didn't get a medal? I felt so bad, but coming out here, I need to put myself together and make sure we execute properly and get the African record and also the gold, and that's what we don't see here, and I'm happy for that.
A huge congratulations to Team Nigeria. Meanwhile, the men's 4x100 meters relay team comprising Udodi Omuzurike, Favour Ashi, Alaba Akintola and Raymond Ekevo are proud of their achievements at their maiden Commonwealth Games. The quartet clocked 38.81 seconds to settle for bronze. It will be the first time since 1990 in Auckland. Team Nigeria will be winning 2 medals in the 4x100 meters final at the Commonwealth Games.
It was a good one. At least we did what we needed to do best, like to pass the betting round and we came out with a bronze medal. It's a perfect one. It's my first time here, and I hope to do more next time. It's a great one. Like the synergy was there. Everyone we worked together, and we were determined to come out with a good medal. But it is what it is. I think we'll do more next year. We have Hungary World Champs. We just have to work together. Know what perfect how to pass the betting round. I know.
Finally on Sports News, Eric Ten Hag's reign as Manchester United manager got off to a nightmare start as Brighton registered their first ever victory at Old Trafford with a 2-1 win on March Day 1 of the Premier League season. Any hope of a fresh start for United after a miserable 2021-2022 season was wiped away within 45 minutes as Pascal Gross struck twice to put Brighton in command. Alexis McAllister's own goal gave United a foothold in the game, but they rarely looked like getting back on level terms, showing the scale of the task lying ahead for Ten Hag. Erling Haaland scored twice on his Premier League debut as Manchester City opened their defence of the title with a 2-0 win at West Ham. Brentford produced a terrific fight back from 2-0 behind to secure a point against Leicester in a thrilling match at the King Power Stadium. And the main news again. Former Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, today said he will continue to speak truth to power in spite of his dethronement. A former CBN boss who was speaking at the staging of a play in his honor said most of his predictions about the country have come to pass. Also today, bandits killed one vigilante member and abducted a couple in a Katsina State community. The attack is the second on same community in less than 2 months. We also told you that the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, today inspected the ongoing 37-kilometre intrastate Red Line rail project, where he promised that the project will be delivered on schedule, on the scheduled completion date. And just before we go, Art Review is up next. 9 Gems is a solo exhibition by Segun Akano, who uses historical and traditional relief sculptures to celebrate the beauty of Nigerian culture. The exhibition at the signature Beyond Gallery in Lagos features about 10 works of art that the artist has created using screws and other unconventional materials. We'll see on Art Review tonight.
Winning hearts one screw at a time.
is what Segun Akao is doing through his latest solo exhibition.
What initiated the works, really, it's our background, our stories as Nigerians, our fathers, our great-grandfathers' stories, their ethics, their values, the things that sustain them, you know. And before we all became lawyers, doctors, and all that, those are the things that our fathers did back then. Those are the things they believed in, you know. We had the hunters, the onidiris, the fishermen, and all that. So it's a way of documenting our stories, taking us back to our roots.
Using this unconventional material, this artist has added more color schemes to his traditional themes, which are captured in 9 gems.
Each of the works takes him about 2 to 3 months to accomplish one. And the one thing I like about his style is the unique way, the storyline about the works. Like the one at my far right left here, titled Paki Oton, is about a reputable hero, a hunter from Ogbomosho that was passing through the bushes, and he was, you know, in the process of killing animals, hunting animals. He discovered that no matter how much animal he was able to kill, there is still more animals to come. He was doing this, you know, trying to explore until he finally discovered there are people living in that area. And from that moment, that place was named Pakioton in Ogbomosho.
He explains how this technique has evolved over time with different elements which he has infused to make it more attractive.
I call it screw hearts. It's screw on board. It's 2-dimensional. It's not on the round form. But you say enjoy all the forms, you know, the shapes and all that. So it's basically screw on board. Some have the background with dyed paper. Some have auto-based background. Some have acrylics on them. Some are painted with acrylics. Some are just in the natural form, the screw.
The 2008 graduate of analytical chemistry from the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Oyo State, has surely left his signature at the Signature Beyond Gallery with this latest collection.
And that's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani.
Hello everyone, it's another edition of Diaspora Network, the show where we showcase Nigerians who are doing the